begin with in this session by knowing what's the difference between kinematics and dynamics, since our lesson is called motion of particle in a plane, which is also called kinematics. So قبل كل شيء بنعرف what do we mean by kinematics. What do we mean by kinematics? Kinematics and dynamics are two branches of mechanics. We know that in physics we have many branches. Mechanics, for example, electricity. So one of these branches is mechanics, and mechanics is also divided into many branches. Two of these are kinematics and dynamics. What's the difference between kinematics and dynamics? Kinematics, it deals with the motion itself. This means without studying the causes. So when we say dealing with the motion, means dealing with three characteristics in general: position, velocity, and acceleration. بينما when we say dynamics, this means it's dealing with the causes of the motion, which give us the motion, and these are the forces. So this means here we will deal with Newton laws. Now, لكن درسنا is about kinematics, means to study three characteristics: position, velocity, and acceleration. هذا الشيء بنضلنا حاطينه ببالنا انه هو ثلاث اشياء اللي نحنا بدنا نحكي عنهم خلال كل درسنا. Now we'll talk about the three things but in different systems. Before talking about the position of an object or a velocity or an acceleration, we want to know first if the object is in motion. So, and then we will start our study. So when do we know, how do we know if an object is in motion? So let's suppose, for example, we have this bus that's moving to the right, and we have two person, A and B, sitting in the bus, while C is another person but standing outside the bus. So if we want to ask about the person A, is A in motion or at rest? First, is it in motion or at rest? If the reference is the ground. So if the reference is the ground, we note that the bus is moving. This means A, with respect to the ground, is in motion. Now, what if the reference is B? A and B are two persons in the bus, sitting in the bus. So A بالنسبة للB هو قاعد ما عم يتحرك. This means A with respect to B is at rest and not in motion. But if we notice A now with respect to the reference, which is C, C is standing while the bus is moving. This means A with respect to C is also moving. So we say A is in motion with respect to C. Now, if we notice here, we've said the word reference. So what do we mean by reference as definition? A reference point is some point in the space used to describe the motion of the other things relative to it. معناتها بمعنى تاني هو الشيء اللي بنستند عليه in order to study the motion of an object. Now, as conclusion, what do we have? So as conclusion, the same object can be at rest or in motion. This is why it depends on the chosen reference. So we say that the motion of an object is relative. Now remark, this year we'll deal with the reference, which is the ground. So when the reference isn't motion in the exercise, this means implicitly we are choosing the reference, which is the ground. And usually this year we'll always deal with the reference, which is the ground. Now here you have a link where you can see the motion of an object that's relative.